Attention passionate Pittsburgh Steelers fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the AFC North and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Pittsburgh Steelers' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave division rivals stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Pittsburgh Steelers fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your friends and Pittsburgh Steelers fans. Let's get to the news now, folks. If you've been paying close attention to the Steelers' roster and performance this season, you've probably noticed a recurring theme, a team that's trying to find its footing, especially on the defensive side of the ball. And let's be honest, the recent roster decisions made by head coach Mike Tomlin have sparked a lot of debate among fans, analysts, and insiders alike. It's not just about the decision to change a linebacker here or there, it's about what it says regarding the long-term vision for this team. And if you're a Steelers fan, you know that every move, every call in Pittsburgh has ripple effects that go well beyond the game day. So let's start with what's happening right now with the linebackers, because this is a key position for the Steelers. After 2 tough weeks defending the run, which, let's face it, has been a glaring issue, Tomlin decided to shake things up. He demoted Payton Wilson from a full-time role and promoted Cole Holcomb to handle early down duties. Now, this isn't just a random shuffle. It reflects a deeper concern about the team's ability to stop the run and cover effectively. Holcomb, as many of you know, was a significant free agent signing for the Steelers during the 2023 offseason. The team saw potential in him, especially given his ability to play downhill and deliver punishing hits, which is why he was brought in to bolster the linebacker core. But his season was derailed halfway through by a catastrophic knee injury, and since then, it's been a question mark whether he could regain his form. Well, now that Holcomb is healthy and back in the fold, he's getting a shot to prove himself once again. The coaching staff describes him as a downhill thumper, a description that suits his playing style perfectly. When he's at his best, Holcomb is a physical presence who can shed blocks and make plays near the line of scrimmage. The coaching staff clearly sees him as someone who has earned this opportunity, especially after his recovery. But as always, there's a caveat: this move is coming at a cost. Because as Holcomb is getting his shot, Payton Wilson's early season struggles have become glaringly obvious. And folks, if you've watched the games closely, you'll know what I'm talking about. Wilson, who was highly touted after his rookie season, has had trouble translating that potential into consistent performance this year. His coverage has been off, and he's been out of position far too often, allowing big plays over the middle of the field that simply shouldn't happen. When it comes to run defense, he's been washed out early in the season, unable to hold his ground against powerful running backs or create disruption in the backfield. But here's the thing, Wilson's rookie season in 2024 was nothing short of spectacular. He was a revelation, showcasing elite speed, quickness, and sideline-to-sideline range. Standing at 6'4" and around 240 pounds, Wilson moved like a much smaller man, and his 4.43 speed made him a nightmare for offenses to handle. During that rookie campaign, Wilson accumulated 78 tackles, which is a solid number, but what really caught people's attention were the playmaking stats: 3 tackles for a loss, a one-handed interception deep down the sideline, a forced fumble, and a fumble recovery that was returned for a touchdown. These aren't just numbers, they tell the story of an emerging star. And Pro Football Focus, a reputable source for analytics, predicted that Wilson was on the brink of a monstrous 2025 season, a breakout year that could cement his place among the league's top linebackers. But as we all know, football isn't played on paper. The reality is, Wilson has struggled so far in 2025. It's early, but the signs are there. The team's decision to demote him for now raises questions about his development. Is this just a temporary slump, or is there a deeper issue? Well, it's probably a bit of both. Young players often go through ups and downs, especially in their second season, and Wilson is still learning how to adapt to the NFL's physicality and complexity. But what's concerning is that his struggles have coincided with the team's defensive inconsistencies, particularly against the run. The Steelers have been exposed early on, and Wilson's absence from the field during crucial moments is a noticeable factor. Now, I want to emphasize, this isn't a knock on Cole Holcomb. The guy has done an incredible job to come back from such a devastating injury. Coming back strong at 29 years old, after already passing what's considered the peak age for linebackers in the league, is no small feat. Holcomb has shown flashes of the player who was once regarded as a promising free agent signing. But the truth is, the NFL is a ruthless league. Age catches up to everyone eventually, and Holcomb's play may only decline from here. The Steelers need to be mindful of that, especially given their recent history of developing young talent. And that brings us to a bigger issue, the Steelers' development pipeline. Over the past few seasons, Pittsburgh has faced criticism for how they've handled their draft picks and player development. You look at the offensive line, where guys like Keanu Benton and Joey Porter Jr. have seemingly regressed since their rookie seasons in 2023. It's as if the team is struggling to get consistent growth from their young players, which is a concern when you're trying to build a roster for sustained success. And Wilson, in many ways, is the latest example of this pattern. The team invested a high pick in him, expecting him to be a cornerstone of the defense, but his early struggles raise questions about whether the franchise is doing enough to develop their talent. Now, let's pause here for a second. Pause here, just for a second. If you want the YouTube algorithm to keep recommending the latest Pittsburgh Steelers news to you, it's super important that you leave a like on this video. Go ahead, it's quick and it makes a big difference. Thank you. Now let us continue with the big reveal. Because, folks, if there's one thing we know about the Steelers, it's that their identity has always been rooted in strong defense and smart, disciplined development. But lately, it seems like there's a disconnect, a gap between what the team invests in draft picks and how they nurture those young players to reach their full potential. It's frustrating for fans who want to see the franchise build a dynasty around young talent, not just rely on veterans or short-term solutions. And talking about the long term, it's worth noting that the decisions Mike Tomlin makes now could have ripple effects for years to come. If Wilson's struggles turn out to be more than just a slump, it could mean that the Steelers are missing out on a future star. Or worse, it might highlight a recurring pattern of misjudging talent development. The same questions linger over other recent picks like Joey Porter Jr. and Keanu Benton, who have shown promise, but also appear to have plateaued or regressed. This isn't just about a single player or a single season, it's about the broader organizational approach to nurturing young talent. The Steelers have always been known for their stability and ability to develop players into stars, but that reputation is being challenged right now. It's a delicate balance between focusing on the present, trying to win games now, and investing in the future, a duality that every NFL team faces. But in Pittsburgh, with their rich history of success and a passionate fan base expecting excellence, these questions hit even harder. Can they find the right formula to develop Wilson and others? Can they turn around the struggles on defense that have plagued them early in the season? And most importantly, can they do it quickly enough to stay competitive in a division as fierce as the AFC North? The AFC North has always been one of the most competitive divisions in football, filled with tough, physical teams that never back down. The Ravens, Browns, Bengals, they all have their strengths, and the Steelers, with their proud tradition, are right in the middle of that fierce battle. But if they don't address these developmental issues, it could cost them dearly in the standings. The Steelers need to get back to their roots, building through the draft, developing young talent, and creating a roster that can compete not just this year, but for years to come. Going back to the players involved, it's clear that the team values experience and grit. Holcomb's return from injury and his role in the defense show that the coaching staff wants players who can bring physicality and leadership on the field. Wilson's potential is undeniable, but the inconsistency early in his second season highlights how crucial proper development is. A player with his skill set, if nurtured correctly, could be a game-changer for Pittsburgh. But rushing him back into a starting role without addressing the underlying issues might just set him back further and, ultimately, hurt the team. And that's what makes these roster decisions so fascinating and complex. It's about managing the present versus planning for the future. It's about balancing the short-term needs of winning games and the long-term goal of building a sustainable dynasty. The Steelers have always been a franchise that prides itself on stability, discipline, and smart decision-making. But the recent pattern of player development, or the lack thereof, suggests there might be some cracks in that foundation. Looking ahead, Fans should keep an eye on how Wilson responds to this setback. Will he come back stronger, more focused, and ready to prove himself all over again? Or will this be a turning point that exposes deeper issues in the organization's development process? And for Holcomb, it's about maintaining his health and performance, showing that he can still be a difference maker at this stage of his career. The team's success depends on both these players performing at their best, especially as the Steelers aim to contend in a tough AFC landscape. In conclusion, the Steelers' current roster moves and the struggles of young players like Payton Wilson reflect a broader challenge that every NFL team faces: how to develop talent effectively and consistently. It's a puzzle that demands patience, smart decision-making, and a clear vision. For Steelers fans, it's a roller coaster of emotions: hope, frustration, anticipation, but above all, unwavering loyalty. The franchise has a storied history, and with the right adjustments, they can still write a new chapter of success. The season is far from over, and these early setbacks could be the catalyst for a stronger, more resilient team that turns adversity into opportunity. And now, Pittsburgh Steelers fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the Steelers. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, so stay tuned for the latest Pittsburgh Steelers news. Thanks for watching, and as always, let's keep the faith.